Because there's one name that I am dying to see in the UFC, and that's Dakota Ditcheva.
What a fighter.
Yeah.
What a fighter.
Talk about the women's
Can you imagine her
division needing a superstar, and talk about a perfectly packaged, talented, gorgeous, eloquent, respectful, good, like literally checks every single box, and she's right there, and she is a flyweight. And can you imagine the matchups that she could have in the flyweight?
Experience, because it doesn't make sense. I've just beat Santos.
Dakota Diva is a name echoing through MMA right now, and according to UFC commentator Laura Sanko, she's not hype, she's a warning. Sanko calls her a violent Cinderella, an undefeated force who could be the superstar women's MMA has been waiting for. The shocking truth? She hasn't even stepped into the UFC Octagon yet. For me, it's Dakota Diva, Sanko declared. What a fighter. This women's division needs a superstar, and she is it. Bring her to the UFC as soon as possible. That's not a fan's opinion. That's one of the UFC's own voices telling Dana White. Sign Dakota now, or risk the women's division's falling apart. Dakota is undefeated and tearing through opponents in the PFL like a buzzsaw. She's got the look, the violence, the marketability, and now the loudest hype engine in women's MMA. The PFL knows she's a golden ticket. But here's the problem for Dana. Every time Dakota destroys another opponent, she makes the UFC roster look weaker. Erin Blanchfield has skill, sure, but no star power. And that's why Laura Sanko is begging Dana, because Dakota could walk into the UFC today and take the crown. The moment Dakota Diva steps inside the...
Valentina isn't untouchable anymore. Alexa Grasso, good fighter, but not a pay-per-view draw. Erin Blanchfield has skills, but no star power yet. And that's exactly why Laura Sanko is begging Dana, because Dakota Ditcheva could walk in today and steal the crown history. That's her mission. And she's not wrong, because the first day Dakota steps into the UFC, she doesn't just shake up flyweight, she puts every single women's division on notice. Strawweight, she'll kill it. Flyweight, she'll own it. Bantamweight, don't even get me started. Dana, this is your fucking nightmare. Dana White has a history of fumbling women's MMA stars. He botched it with Cyborg. He played games with Kayla Harrison. And now, he's on the verge of letting the PFL turn Dakota Ditcheva into the face of women's MMA while the UFC divisions rot from the inside. Dana Wake Up Laura Sanko just handed you the blueprint. The UFC needs a superstar. The UFC needs a killer. The UFC needs the violent Cinderella. Because if you don't sign Dakota Ditcheva now, she's going to kill all your divisions from the outside. And by the time you realize it, it'll already be too late. Dakota Ditcheva isn't waiting forever. She's coming for history, and she's coming for blood. So the only question left is Dana White ready to bring the violent Cinderella into the UFC, or will he sit back and watch his divisions get destroyed?
Division. She'll redefine the entire landscape of women's MMA. Dakota Diva is putting every women's division on notice. Strawweight, she'll run through it. Flyweight, she'll dominate it. Bantamweight, she'll own it without question. Dana, this is your nightmare waiting to happen. You've dropped the ball before. You mishandled Cyborg. You played games with Kayla Harrison. And now, you're one step away from letting the PFL turn Dakota Diva into the face of women's MMA, while the UFC's own divisions crumble from the inside. It's time to wake up. Laura Sanko already gave you the blueprint. The UFC doesn't just need another fighter. It needs a superstar. It needs a finisher. It needs the violent Cinderella. Because if you don't sign Dakota Diva now, she'll destroy your divisions from the outside looking in. By the time Dana White wakes up, it might already be too late. Dakota Diva isn't waiting. She's chasing history, and she's chasing blood. The real question is, will Dana sign the violent Cinderella, or sit back and watch his division collapse? Then came the 6 words that shook the MMA world. Not from Ronda, not from Nunes, not even from Valentina. They came from Conor McGregor, staring Dakota straight in the eyes. You're the next big thing. This is Conor we're talking about. The man who built the UFC empire. The same fighter who called his shots against Aldo, Eddie, and Khabib, and delivered every time. When McGregor speaks, it's not hype, it's prophecy, and the numbers prove it. Dakota Diva is 15-0, 14 knockouts, 10 in the very first round. She doesn't just win, she ends careers. Just ask Lisa Molden, who admitted, Dakota ended my career.
Body work was impeccable tonight. I mean, you tore up her calf. She had the scratches and everything on it after a couple kicks, and you basically dropped her with some body shots there. How does it feel to, like, just know that your striking is good in all aspects?
Yeah, I feel like I'm still learning with my striking and kind of figuring myself out, and that's like I have had a body shot stoppage before, but I'm kind of just like getting used to different tools and like getting different finishes, which is really exciting for me. I feel like I've got still so much to learn. Everyone goes on about my striking all the time and how good I am, and I appreciate what they say, but I still feel like I have so much to improve on still. So if people are saying, good things about my striking now, imagine in a few more years when I've stuck in the gym and kept working hard and keep coming up with stuff like this.
So first place, first round finish. Would you say this went exactly as planned?
Yeah, I would say so. But I mean, I think some of the other girls have done just as good, So it'd be interesting to see how the table plays out now and who I face next.
Were you surprised it wasn't stopped sooner? I know you had her in a very bad spot right before the stoppage there.
Fair play to her, yeah. She got back up after the first body shot, and I sank it in, like I felt it straight away. So I'm not surprised that she went down. But she got back up and kept going. But obviously, the second time around, she couldn't.
So it was announced tonight, I don't know if you know, but your next fight will be in Connecticut on June 13th. I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on that?
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Connecticut. I've heard that word before, but I've not really heard much about it.
All right.
But I mean, I just feel very privileged to be traveling to different states in America. This opportunity for me is really exciting, and if I wasn't doing a sport like this, I wouldn't be, presented with opportunities like that to visit different states. So, I mean, to me, it's a bonus to go any state.
Pose to survive Dakota. That's a controversy. Ronda is gone. Nuna's retired. Valentina is fading. The UFC is starving for a female megastar. And Dakota is right there, undefeated, violent, marketable, and ready to ignite the sport. Imagine... Dakota Diva versus Valentina Shevchenko. Not just in Vegas, but on the biggest stage Dana can build, maybe even the rumored White House UFC card. That's not a fight, it's an explosion, because when Conor McGregor calls you a superstar, the world listens. He said he'd be champ, and it happened. He predicted knockouts, and they happened. And now he said about Dakota Diva. 6 words that could define the next decade. You're the next big thing, baby. So here's a
UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little... We're not. Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight...
Dakota Diva become the female Conor McGregor? Or is this just hype before she runs into a bullet named Valentina? One thing is certain. History has proven when McGregor makes a prophecy,